How's it going, everybody? I am Preston Johnson. Welcome to Last Word Cheetah, brought to you by Bets TV.
You guys a general philosophy?
That's exactly right. You're a fish.
Qwan, by the way, my producer, Qwan Young, doing a good job. He'll be taking the calls. How you doing today, bud?
Hey, man, how are you?
I'm trying to give away $25,000. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Welcome to the show, Bets TV, bringing you Last Word Cheetah. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Last Word Cheetah, brought to you by Bets TV. I am Preston Johnson, hanging out with Qwan Young over there, producing to my left. Give everybody a wave. It's Wednesday. We had an unfortunate all-star game for our good friend Carlos. I am sorry, Carlos, that we're leading the day with you're over, but unfortunately, I don't know if you do you want to replay the video now? Should we just get right into it?
Well, I think we should talk about it for a second because he was really excited about being back in the winner's circle, and I feel it's funny. Like, nobody saw me or heard me on the stream yesterday.
Yeah, he
laughing,
cracked up live.
but it was pretty funny because he was excited, and then
I mean, somehow the balls just weren't flying out like they were 2 nights ago. I don't know what it was. Poor guy goes over the 11. 5-2 is the final in the All-Star game.
we could play it.
All right, you want to run it?
Yeah.
All right, just do it.
Yeah,
Right on, man. So what do you have for us today? You go on All-Star game?
Yeah, it's 11, right? I
Yeah.
put in my bet yesterday at William Hill at 10.5. So I like the over. That balls were flying out. I mean, the guy fly.
I mean, it was a home run derby, Carlos.
Up there. Yeah, I understand that, but I don't think all the pitchers are going to pitch. They're going to do like 1 or 2 innings, and then people. I think they're just going to fly out the park tonight.
I love you, man.
I think
You're one of my favorite callers. We're going to lock you in for 11. I can give you minus 109, minus 107 on the over is the best price I see.
cool.
So we'll get you at that one.
Back
man.
in the winner's circle.
That's
I'm
right.
a winner again.
Good luck tonight. I hope, worst case, hopefully your 10.5 hits at least. You got a good number there.
Yes.
Take care.
Thanks, brother.
Carlos. All right. I hope he's not offended and he actually calls in later today, but
We
it
want
was
him to
doomed
win.
as soon as he said back in the winner's circle.
I said I was on Twitter last night during the game, and I told you this before. And Scott he texted me or tweeted me, and he said, "Man, I should start fading Carlos." And I told you, like, that was the moment where I had an epiphany where I faded Carlos yesterday, and I was right. So it's at that moment where I figured I think they hit that 2-run home run and put him up 5-1 or something. Something happened, and I was like, oh, man, they might get to 11. I might be the jinx.
And maybe we need to just bring him on permanently, offer him a gig. Carlos fades versus Qwan fades and just see who it is, man. Let's get down to the bottom of this. We do have some pretty crazy news, though. You haven't heard about this. I didn't mention it to Qwan beforehand. I'm not sure you would necessarily grasp the significance of this, but there is a WNBA All-Star game tonight. Okay. They're going up against the USA national team, and they did this weird kind of shuffle of the top 36 All-Stars, and then they took the top 12 of those that were voted that weren't already on the national team, and they created this WNBA All-Star team. Regardless, the total opened earlier today, and I think it was 251.5. Okay, well, it's an All-Star game. Usually they're not very competitive, but this is like a pre-Olympic kind of like exhibition game, and it's between the best players in the world, at least the United States, right? It's down. It got bet down like 25 points. Finally, the books, Chris specifically, took it off of the board and reopened it at 190.5. This thing moved 61 points down from the opener to the under. It's been since bought finally back up a little, sitting 191.5, 192. It's basically a 60-point move to a total in a basketball game the same day. I've never seen anything like that. Even the NBA All-Star games that maybe have moved, like when they initially started the Elam ending, and they changed some of the specifics there. Like maybe it moved like at 18 to 20 points, rings a bell in that range. But 60 points to an All-Star game. There's people out there sitting with under like 245 to 251 that were like first on this. And I don't know. Part of me thinks it's like the easiest win. Like, you're sitting there, you're looking at a 50-50 implied, number around 191.5. If this goes over 250 somehow, and everybody loses, it's going to be one of the bigger random WNBA All-Star wins for a sportsbook, right? Like I'll have to actually investigate and ask people, like, what's the most you've won as a sportsbook in the WNBA All-Star game before? Like this has to be the potential biggest W for them. So it's worth following along at the very least, see where the market goes, where it ends up. They tip off in 3 hours. So 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific for the start of that game. And that's worth watching, man. Women's hoops is great. WNBA League Pass, it's only like $15 a year a season. You have to get it.
Candace Parker on the cover.
Of what?
NBA 2K22. She got her own cover.
Wait a second. Didn't Dirk just tweet about NBA 2K22?
It's a bunch. It's Candace Parker got her own.
Oh, a bunch of different players got their own cover. Okay.
It's Luka, right? Luka's the main.
Well, put up the Dirk tweet because I told you to grab that beforehand. And this is like the 75th anniversary edition. So maybe that's why they're doing multiple players. But Dirk's tweet was pretty funny. I'm not sure if you actually have the
I didn't get the
writing.
tweet.
All right, I'll read it to everybody. I got it. It says, Dirk tweets, not sure who these other guys are, but huge honor to be on the cover of NBA 2K22. Thank you. So you have Kareem, you got Durant. So that's like the 75th anniversary edition. That's different than like the Luka cover, the Candace cover, which is okay. I feel like they did something like that maybe for the 70th year. I don't know. I haven't bought NBA 2K probably in 2 or 3 years, but I did play it back in the day.
2K's been out. I bought the first 2K like with Iverson on the cover for Sega Dreamcast. Time keep on slipping, man.
Hold on a second. That's a good trivia question. I don't think I would have gotten that. Iverson was the first cover for NBA 2K.
He was the first, and I think he had it until 2K5, maybe, until it went next gen or something like that. But yeah, he was the cover athlete for 2K until like 2K5, and I think it was the same for Moss on NFL 2K.
By the way, I wanna end this first break coming up in 2 minutes with this, a little bit of Dirk Nowitzki. But for those that are unaware, we take calls throughout the show. You tell us the bets you like. That's why we were talking about Carlos earlier. We showed his call from yesterday. We got the WNBA All-Star Game. We have Game 4 of the Suns-Bucks NBA Finals. So call in 661-515-BETS. Give us a ring. We track throughout the month who ends up with the most wins, the most profitable bets throughout the month. We give away cash. There's $590 right now in the prize pool for July. We're giving that to the top spot. So you have nothing to lose calling in, trying to take a shot. Dirk, so my wife's from Dallas. Her family's been in Dallas forever. They're big Dallas fans in general. I kind of, was along for the ride during the Dirk Nowitzki era in Dallas. I decided today after I saw that cover, it was a funny tweet for sure, but I decided like he's probably one of my favorite 5 players of all time. And I don't know if it's because like if I was 100 pounds skinnier and actually played basketball, like he's about it, he's slow and like maneuverable. Like that's kind of how I envision I would maybe be.
You like Luka too.
I do love Luka. Is it just the Euro white guys that can do a little bit of everything?
Do you have the knee up fadeaway in your arsenal?
No, I don't.
What's your go-to move?
I actually went to the gym last night and I hired the same kid to rebound for me, shot threes for about an hour straight. And I had a run of, hold on, let me do some math. 14. I had a run of 32 of 33 from straight away to the corner. And I only missed one. So I'm getting my shot back, but I can't do it if I'm leaning back like the Dirk step back thing. No, I haven't even really tried it. Maybe if I practiced it.
32 and 33.
But standstill threes, I can reign. I'll take you next time. We'll go shoot.
We'll film it.
We can.
That could be the challenge.
It could be a
for
bet.
Friday.
Yeah, whatever it is, I hope you make the line because you've botched all the other ones, and it'll save me some money that we're giving away. So you guys, when you call in, which we will take a break here, 661-515-BETS, call in. Give us your winners today. Does anybody want to bet against a 60-point move in the WNBA All-Star Game and go over the total? I want to hear about it. We'll talk to you guys soon. Welcome back to Last Word Cheetah, brought to you by Bets TV. Our good friend Carlos was not offended. I was a little worried he may not actually call back in. I genuinely was. I felt a little bit bad, but he's the first one on the line. So, like I said, one of my favorite callers. I love him to death. Carlos, welcome to Last Word Cheetah yet again. I'm not sure what happened, but the ball was not flying out like it was 2 nights ago. 7 runs is all you got.
You guys are awesome. Listen, I don't know what happened last night. There was multiple opportunities where this thing could have been over. It should have been over, definitely. So my heart feels that it should have went over. But, it is what it is. The balls did not fly out like I thought they were. But you know what? We move on.
You have something in line for tonight? I mean, you're due. Remember how you go? Remember how you always try to find the bets that haven't won in like 6 to 10 straight? You're starting to push the we're due theory yourself.
Yeah, well, I'm probably going to have to talk to my daughter the second half of baseball. We're going to get me and her are going to have to get together, have a meeting. But I'm going out the box. I am going to take Mexico and soccer tonight minus. What is it? The first half is -1, maybe.
Is it the Primera division? Primera division, that one.
Yeah.
Let me pull it up. Wait a second. Is it international? Or you're
no,
not looking at Cruz
Trinidad
Azul?
And Tobago. I forget what. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think they're playing tonight. Trinidad, Tobago, maybe.
Man, I will have to dig in a little bit. I do not have. All I have is the Primera Division, Cruz Azul, Club Leon on my screen right now. I will pull this up. Just give me a second. So you're looking for Mexico as far as the country playing like an exhibition match or something against.
Right, I believe so.
Okay, we're gonna get to the bottom of this. What's the price that you were envisioning?
I heard it was like -1, the first half.
So they're big favorites.
I believe. If not, I have a secondary pick.
I'm trying to find it. Let me see. They play today for sure.
If you can't find it, I heard your intro today. I will take the over in that WNBA All-Star game.
Yeah, I'm not seeing where you're pulling up. I just pulled up like 2 different books. Same thing, Cruz Azul.
No worries.
Yeah, we'll go WNBA
Let's take
then.
Over WNBA over 191.5?
Since I did the intro, it's moved up to 192 to 193. I can give you a 192. That's the best I can do, but it's starting to buy back up. I mean, once you have a move 60 points down, that's not really surprising.
Right.
But 192, it's essentially near the bottom, and you're playing against the massive move.
Yes.
Cool. We will lock you in at 192, Carlos. I wish you luck, and I do kind of want to see, for some reason, like 260 points and just everyone loses this bet. It's it's not very cool. I understand that a lot of people I know have money on the under, but it would be a pretty funny story. So, Carlos, I'm rooting for you tonight, bud. Good luck.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Let's go, Carlos.
Thanks, Qwan.
We have Bob on the line too, I believe I heard, right? Bob, welcome to Last Word Cheetah, man. How you doing?
Great, Preston. How are you, young feller?
I'm good, thank you. I appreciate it. What do you got for us tonight?
Well, I was wondering if maybe that over/under. Did they think it was going to be a 48-minute All-Star game or what? That's crazy.
Each quarter?
You know?
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. To be honest.
Yeah. Hey, one of the things I noticed. I was amazed by the guy throwing pitches to Pete Alonso in that home run hitting contest. That guy was perfect.
I talked. I'm not sure if you were able to tune in yesterday. I talked to Qwan about this. There were, how they do the stat cast, like location, pitch location, strike zone, ball, blue and red, whatever's. And there was a chart after, and he literally threw every single ball to Alonso within like 20% of the zone. So like just right in the same spot nearly every time. And I saw a bunch of tweets going out, he was the real MVP, that type of thing. I was super impressed though. It kind of we were talking about like free throw shooting and how Alonso's home runs just looked effortless and just so like in a zone. And then the guy, just speaking of free throw shooting, he just threw the ball in the same exact spot nearly every time. So maybe that's why Alonso did so well. I'm not sure, but the kid just makes a ton of money now, hitting home runs in the home run derby relative to his actual salary. So I can't hate on him.
I know that. That's crazy. Yeah, but that was so good because I coach tennis, and it's hard in a sport where you try to get people to not hit the ball to put it in the same spot every time. I mean, that's just tough.
Yep.
But anyway, All right. Here's my bet. If I can I go on Brooks Koepka to win the Open Championship this weekend?
Oh, interesting. So this is getting a little bit. Hold on.
Yeah, baby.
A little bit. So no one's actually taken a future as their pick for the day, but I think we need to allow it because it still be within July, so it still counts. If it loses, then he's -1. What price do you see? I'm going to pull up at.
I think it was 14 or 1600.
Okay, tell us why you like Koepka, and I'll confirm a price with you in the meantime.
Well, when he hits the ball, the ball just flies off his irons and his woods, To quote another famous better. But, no.
Sounds like Carlos. The ball's flying out. That's how I thought when I heard
the ball's flying out everywhere this week.
Just messing with him. All right. But, no, he's been close in so many. Super consistent, been top 5 so many times. I feel like this is the one.
Okay, I can give you plus 15-15. That's the Chris line I pulled up. Does that work? A little better than 15. Cool.
Oh yeah,
I like it. No one's really gone that route yet, other than that end of June day where everyone was firing parlays. We got now a futures bet we can sweat through the weekend, and if you're right, you're going to be well into first in July. So getting ahead of the game, ahead of the curve a little bit.
Desperate times.
Do it for Seattle, for the Mariners.
Woohoo!
All right, man. We appreciate the call, Bob. Take it easy.
I want to parlay that with the Mariners not losing tonight.
You will get that. You will get that for sure. Take care. We'll talk to you next time.
Listen, I was about to write that down.
What?
That the Mariners aren't losing tonight.
Well, they definitely aren't.
Yeah,
that's his one chance of not losing. I will say that if he said the balls are flying, whenever he hits the ball, it's flying out on purpose to needle Carlos. That was well done, Bob. I think it may have been.
Carlos.
What?
We got to lay off for Carlos.
I know, Park.
Everybody somebody faded him yesterday. Was it at Patrick the day before?
Someone called in and went under the 11. Anyways, they were playing against it, which they were correct. It might have been Sarab. I'm not 100% sure, but bring up, ask about golf. Brooks Koepka, why do you like him? And he's like, well, just whenever he hits it, the ball flies off the club. That was pretty good. All right, we do have other callers on the line. We'll get to them now. We'll bring at least one more before we got to take a break. Welcome to Last Word, Cheetah. Who are we talking to?
Hey, Preston, this is Matt from New Jersey.
Go ahead, man. What do you like tonight?
I think I'm going to go to the Bucks tonight. I think they're still in a 4.5 out there. I think I saw it FanDuel. I think trending toward 5 at other books, but you can tell me what you see.
4.5's good. You can have it -107 is the best price on a 4.5. I'll give you that. Tell us why you like Milwaukee other than just they're at home bouncing back.
Yeah, so I kind of just think game 1 you might kind of throw out the window. It seemed like Giannis was sort of a little feel-out game. He wasn't really as explosive as we kind of seen him the past 2 games, but it looks like he's trending toward being back. I think when you look at game 2, the game that the Bucks lost, they were in that game pretty much the entire way. I think they led most of the first half, had it 6 points in the fourth quarter. Sun shot 50% from deep. I know there's been a lot of talk of late of the free throw disparity, but I think that's just Giannis being Giannis. He's just a tough cover, and now he's being more explosive. So I kind of just think you're going to see more of the same tonight. Bucks, I think, have lost only 1 game at home all postseason, which I think was that one game game 1 when Trey went for 50 or something like that. So, barring any, I think Drew, I really think the Bucks win. I don't really love love too much the 4.5, but I hear other people are up 5.9 units and I'm up 2, so I think I got to call in more. So we're gonna go with the Bucks. We're gonna lay with the 4.5 with the Bucks. Hope Drew Holiday doesn't go 2-15, or Middleton and Drew go for combined 5 for 40 or something.
Right on, man. We'll lock you in. We appreciate the call. Feel free to call whenever. We're up against the break, so I'm going to let you go, but we'll lock you in. 4.5 -107. And by the way, that game 2, before we cut, everyone remembers the 50% three-point shooting from the Suns. You can play the music. I like it as I finish up. It sounds good. Drew and Middleton, I believe, combined 12 of 37 in that same game. And like you mentioned, look, middle of the fourth quarter, that was still a game. So Drew and Middleton, they'll be a little sharper at home. I don't mind the Bucks side. We'll be back on the other side. Don't talk. Welcome back to the show. This is Last Word Cheetah. I am Preston Johnson, hanging out with Qwan Young. We just went through a round of callers. We have 3 more holding on the line. We're going to get right to them. Hopefully they have some more winners tonight on the slate. We got the WNBA All-Star Game. We have Game 4 of the NBA Finals. And maybe some soccer, although we couldn't find Carlos's soccer request. So who is up next? Who do we have first coming in? Anthony from Jersey. We got Anthony on, man. How you doing today?
What's up, Preston? I'm doing good. How are you, man?
I'm doing well, man. Thank you. Tell us what you like.
I love the Suns tonight.
Ooh.
I'm expecting a Middleton classic.
Explain.
He's going to probably go 4 for 18 tonight. I mean, he has the worst shot selection in the league for an average player. So,
oh my gosh.
we're hoping for a Middleton.
Hold on a second. What did Middleton do to you?
No, I mean, have you watched them in the games they've lost this year? I mean, so far.
Yeah, I mean, you called him an average player. I think that's a little extreme. That's a spicy take, just in and of itself.
He's an average player. He's an overpaid player. Can we agree at that?
Can we agree that they wouldn't have beat the Hawks if he didn't drop 40 in like 2 or 3 of the games?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
He's basically
so, like, not average players don't usually do that.
Look, yes.
Are you anti-Texas A&M? I think that's where he went to school. Are you like against A&M or something?
No, I'm a Gator guy, so it's pretty irrelevant.
Okay. You can take the Suns. It's totally fine. I just had to stand up for Middleton a little bit. I mean, Giannis injury, they play games without him, and they beat the Hawks anyway. I got to give some credit to Middleton. I think he had 3 different quarters in that series. He dropped 20 or more in the quarter. I mean, he was unreal. Now he's regressed in this series, and he's playing a much better defense, which is something we had talked about before the series. But I can give you 5, by the way. You want the +5, or are you just going money line?
I want money line. It's a win tonight.
Oh, baby.
And when he shoots 4 for 30, we'll have a discussion about his
4 of 18 to 4 of 30. Look, we'll open the show with it. If he goes,
we'll call it that range. Only 4 makes, though.
I'll give you credit for it. You can call back in right in the open tomorrow morning if Middleton goes 4 for X. And I'll give you +175. Right. I can give you +175 on the Suns tonight. We'll lock you in, man. Appreciate the call.
What's like the leaderboard looking like or whatever?
We'll have Qwan updated. I know for the last few days he's been trying to update it, but Mikey's still in first. He's up 5.9 units, and then we'll get everyone else up there on a graphic. We'll show everybody.
We'll have that updated Friday.
I mean, I only called once, so I just have 1. I was just wondering what the top number is looking like.
Take a few shots on some money lines. You'll be back in the mix. Take it easy.
Bet. Middleton 4 for. That's what we're calling it tonight.
You should just bet his points under instead of the Suns you want to parlay it? You want to go Suns money line, Middleton under points?
Yep. Yeah, I absolutely want that. Absolutely.
All right. I'll give you the price. We have to get to a break soon and take one more call before, but I'll give you the price on that.
But yeah, throw me that.
Okay. I'll let you know what the price is. I'll pull it up. Let's take one more call quick before the break. Do we have Patrick waiting? I trust Patrick. If we can go to Patrick, I trust him to give us a W in the next 30 seconds. We appreciate the call, Patrick. Go for it and tell us what you like.
Hey, Preston. Hey, NBA is definitely not my jam, but there's pretty slim pickings tonight. Yeah. So I'm going to chase a little bit of steam and take the Bucks at 4.5 if you still have something available.
Yep, 4.5 minus 107. I can give you that price right there.
Okay. I can't give you any rationale whatsoever since I'm not an NBA guy, but I'm chasing steam.
That's fine. You need a W today. It's probably better than chasing the WNBA steam that moved under 60 points already.
Yeah, that ship has sailed.
Yes, it has. We appreciate it, Patrick. We're up against a break, so we will talk to you again later this week.
See you, boys.
Cool. And we do have one more call on the line. We're going to make them wait. We have to take a cut now. This is Last Word Cheetah. We'll get them on the other side. 661-515-BETS. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Last Word Cheetah. We have two more callers that have been hanging tight. Sarab was first up. I'm sorry we had to cut off early last segment. I already looked it up. I can give you 54.5 in the first quarter, over -110. I'm guessing that has to be your play, right, man?
That's exactly what I want.
Like, we probably didn't even need to put you on hold. I could have just marked it in the Excel doc and we would have been good to go. But if you want to explain, tell everyone how you're like 6-1 betting first quarter overs. Is there any reason you like this one more than any other, or are you just going with it?
No, just kind of going with the trend, the same rationale. The kind of defense starts off a little slow and then tights up at the end usually, although these third quarters have been going over a lot too. But I'm going to stick with that first quarter over.
That, speaking of, before Friday's show, I loved the weird Fever Liberty game. Liberty were stuck in the airport. Their plane got canceled. So my last word Friday was that Fever game, which they did win. They won the game outright. They covered. But I had also mentioned, I think now's the time to buy under the total, 222.5, 222 for the weekend game, and this is game 3. And he's dead right. Like it was a dead under at halftime, and then there was 70 in the third quarter. Luckily, it was a blowout, and it still cashed. It landed 220. I think it ended up closing 219.5. So we got that one. I still lean under in the game as a whole, but I will say this. Bucks second halves and third quarter overs have been a thing under Bud for a few years. People that aren't following second half or third quarter markets, or if you're just looking and you're like, why is it that most of the NBA games, the first halves are shaded a little bit higher than half of the full game total? Say you have a 220, you'll have a first half that's generally like 111. Bucks are actually reversed. They're actually shaded to where their second halves are higher. So if you're wondering why that's the case, you're not getting like free money betting over 107.5 in a Bucks first half when normally it's 110 or 111. So I'm just throwing that out there so people are aware. We appreciate the call, Sarah. I'm rooting for your first quarter, but I do prefer the game to go under.
Thanks, Preston. Take care.
Yeah, man. Take it easy. We got one more caller, I believe. Brian from New York. Brian, welcome to Last Word Cheetah. What do you got for us today?
Hey, Cheetah. How you doing?
Doing well, man. Doing well. Thanks.
I think I'm going to go for a long shot, just like Bob did, and I'm going to go with Spieth to win the Open.
Okay, I'll give you plus 1954. So 19.5 to 1, essentially. Does that work?
Yep, that's perfect.
All right. Any reason, Spieth? I don't follow golf very closely. From what I gather, he was really good for a while, and then he's just been like kind of on this downturn until more recently. He's the fourth favorite now in the Open. Tell us why you like him.
Yeah, he did take a pretty big downturn, but he's been playing better lately, and I think the course kind of sets up well for him, where he doesn't have to be perfect with his driver. I feel like that's what gets him in the most trouble, and I'm just taking the bigger payout.
Right on. We'll lock you in. You'll be in, massive lead if he pulls this off. Him or Koepka, one of you guys will be there. We appreciate the call, man. You take it easy. Good luck.
All right, thanks, Cheetah. Bye.
Anyone else? We good? All right, we're gonna jump into Big Ten. I know we're up against it. We'll have a couple segments to get through Big Ten. We went through the first 6 teams, my top 6 teams in the Big Ten on Monday and Tuesday, 3 each day. We got to go through 4 today so we can get through all 14 before Friday. Any guesses? Who's next? Off the top of your head, you already did a graphic. Can you think of it?
I don't know. Maybe Minnesota.
There you go.
Minnesota.
Throw it up there. You got anything against Minnesota? Any Middleton hate?
No, I've been to Minnesota once. It's a cold city.
You lived there once?
I vacationed there. I vacationed in Minnesota.
So Minnesota is my 7th top-rated team in the Big Ten. They come in at 34 for me, which is a little higher than, I know I've been giving people context. Phil Steele has them 49th. PFF has them 38th. They return 89% of their production combined, offensive defense, from last year. Now, generally, that's a massive number. Again, I say this every day as a reminder. NCAA granted an extra year of eligibility. So the average, instead of 63% nationwide, is 77% this year. So they're 18th in returning production or experience this year. Still a team that, look, Tanner Morgan in 2019 had a massive year at quarterback, and then last year it was just a weird. I think they ended up their first couple of games, having a bunch of COVID issues and playing with like scout team players, and the offensive line had a bunch of injuries. And so Tanner Morgan had a huge drop off where people thought he would have a good year after 2019 in 2020 and actually declare for the NFL draft. He didn't, so he didn't declare for the NFL draft, and now he's back. So I think they're probably somewhere in between the 2019 2020 Tanner Morgan Minnesota Gophers squad. My personal projection for wins is 6.9, so I think 7 is fair. But they aren't a team, if you're like looking at what happened last year, and defensively, I think they graded out like 116th in EPA. Look, they were 22nd in offense, and that was with a Tanner Morgan that wasn't as accurate and had problems with his offensive line, but they ran the ball effectively, even in a tough Big Ten schedule. So yeah, I think that's fair, but I wish if it was 6.5, I probably would be considering over. If you can find 6.5s in Minnesota in the market in the win total, I think it's a worthwhile play. But at 7, it is a pass. Next up for me is Nebraska. I have them at 37th, and so it'll be interesting. You're like, wow, they're only a couple spots behind Minnesota, but in the market, you see there the season win total. It's a full win total lower. Nebraska projects to have the second most difficult schedule in the entire country, and so that is why, despite being a similarly rated or graded team as Minnesota, their win total is lower, and I have them only projected for 5.8 wins. So I love Scott Frost, love Adrian Martinez. They just haven't quite reached or hit that point that everyone anticipated when he came over from UCF. Last year, they were 42nd in EPA on offense, 66th in defense. So, I mean, they're above average on both sides. But when you play in the Big Ten and you have, I guess, the second toughest schedule projected in the entire country, it's just going to be tough to win enough games. And I'll pull up their schedule because they play, I believe it is Oklahoma. Yes, it's Oklahoma. So outside of having to play Ohio State and Wisconsin and Iowa, Northwestern, Michigan State, like they have to play Oklahoma too. So it's just going to be tough for them, I think, to get to 7 wins. And I think 6 is fairly close. Again, if you could get a 6.5 in the market, again, I've seen a few at like a minus 140 range there. I think that's a worthwhile under, but at 6 it would pass. Northwestern, I do like, I will say now. They're my 47th rated team in the country, which is interesting for a team that's 10-2 last year, and was actually making a push, a potential shot at getting into the Big Ten championship game. They are the second least experienced team in the country. Their total returning production is 39%. BYU is the only school that has less coming back, and I think that's why the market's only at 6.5. But I have to trust, for one, Pat Fitzgerald just like finds ways to win games no matter what, especially if they're close down the stretch. They're defensively, they were, I think, second best against the pass in EPA in the entire country. As a whole, they were still 11th in EPA, so right, including against the run. They were fantastic. Their secondary lost one main guy to the NFL. I forget his name. It was a first-round draft pick. And then they bring the other 3 back. So I think they can rely on the defense and the secondary to some degree, but they lose transfer Peyton Ramsey, who had gone over from Indiana. And they're going to rely on either Ryan Helinski or Hunter Johnson. And neither of those guys in few starts that they've had the last few years for other schools. I believe Hunter Johnson was actually like a 5-star recruit to Clemson at one point a few years back. Helinski's played a little bit. If one of them can step up to some degree, I think the upside for Northwestern can be similar to last year. The market disagrees, and I think in general at this point in the summer, the market is just looking at who returns a lot or not, and this has gotten bit down. Look, I think that they're like a 7.1 win team on average. That's where my projection is. I think you can get over 6.5. And I will say this, of all the Big Ten schools in the entire country, in the conference, they have the easiest schedule. I use air quotes off graphic on camera because the Big Ten's extremely tough. 69th is still slightly actually it's slightly below average. There you go. So 65 or so would be average. So slightly below average schedule, but relative to the Big Ten, it's one of the easiest. So can they get to 7 wins when they have like Indiana State on their schedule, Ohio, Rutgers, Illinois? They're still going to be favorites, most likely in their home matches against like Purdue or a Michigan State. So I have to go with Northwestern. I have to trust Fitzgerald, even though they are so inexperienced. I think just from a recruiting standpoint, a program standpoint, my priors, I think they're more like a 7-win team, and we're getting a 6.5. So I got to go over with Northwestern. And last but not least, before we take a break and I break down Purdue, a little teaser, because we do have to take a break and I'll hit them on the other side. But they are my, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th rated team in the Big Ten, coming in at number 52. And I will say quite a bit higher than Phil Steele at 59. And PFF has them at 80. 80th. I have them at 52nd. So am I high? Am I bullish on Purdue? We'll find out on the other side. We're taking a break. This is Last Word Cheetah, 661-515 bets. If you guys want to get any more in before the end of the show at the end of the hour, we'll be back soon. Welcome back, everybody. We were just going through my Big Ten preview for the day, my 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th rated teams in the conference. Minnesota, Nebraska, Northwestern, broke those down. I do like Northwestern despite the lack of returning production and experience. Maybe it comes back to bite. Maybe, look, my numbers say this should be a season win total more like 7. You're getting a 6.5. I got to go with it. And then Purdue coming in at number 10 for me within the conference, 52nd rated team in the entire country. The 4th toughest schedule in the country. So again, Northwestern, the easiest Big Ten schedule, or the weakest, I should say, at 69th. Purdue, 4th. So Nebraska and Purdue. Ultimately, for me, this comes down to, can you win half of your games when you're playing a schedule that includes, let me pull it up real quick, Notre Dame, out of conference. Even Oregon State to open the year was a good team down the stretch last year in the Pac-12 that's up and up. And then you have to still play Ohio State and Wisconsin and Iowa and Nebraska and Michigan State. Like, it grades out to be the 4th, expected to be the 4th toughest schedule. So their win totals at 5. I project 4.6. I was going through, like, they're probably a good amount of the time going to be 3-1 too. They play Oregon State, so say they're going to be a favorite in that game. They play it at home, but it's losable. But I expect them to win more often. They'll beat UConn and they should beat Illinois. But then they go on the road to Minnesota. Then they go Iowa, Wisconsin, Nebraska, Sparty, Ohio State, Northwestern, Indiana. I only project them out of those last 8 games to be a favorite in one of them. And so for them to be 3-1 and win 3 of those next 8 when they're only a favorite in 1, I have to go under the 5. I think it's going to push pretty frequently, but I have 4 fewer wins more often than 6 or more. So I like Purdue under the 5. They also have not only defensively are they going to struggle, they lose Rondell Moore. I know they played some games without Rondell Moore anyway because he was dealing with injuries here and there. But they've been playing 2 quarterbacks pretty frequently for the last 2 seasons, Jack Plummer and Aiden O'Connell. Does it? I know. Like, when was the last time? I know they're like really quick to like, oh, it's not working for 2 or 3 series. Go to Plummer or go to O'Connell. They still have both of those guys are both still there. I'm not sure if they're just going to rely on one and set it in, or if one kind of sets themselves apart. The offense is graded out pretty well as a whole. I believe in EPA they were 35th. Yeah, 35th defensively. They're about middle of the pack. So as a whole, I think it might be a team that's worth considering betting overs in their games early on relative to the market. I think the offense will, despite the loss of Moore, be right similar vein, similar path where they've been the last few seasons regardless. But defensively, it's just rough. And by the way, they bring back only 74% production, which again, it's pretty far below average in the country this year. So I got to go with it. Going under on Purdue, over on Northwestern. Those are 2 bets of the 4 today. By the way, I didn't find this out the way. Had someone come by the studio yesterday. I should have known Detroit. I didn't realize you were a Michigan fan, and I did Michigan yesterday. Like, where are you at with the Michigan Wolverines this season? Like, what's going to happen? What are your thoughts on Harbaugh? Do you hate him? How you hate him even more than hate?
Jim Harbaugh should have been gone. I don't know what year, but that he got an extension last year, right?
Before last season, I think. And last year was weird, but yeah.
I was yelling for them to replace him.
You were? Okay.
Yeah, the prestige is gone. Like the Lloyd Carr Michigan Wolverines, the Bo Schembechler Wolverines, like all that is out the window, and it's all Ohio State. So they lose the recruiting battle. They just don't. It's not the same school it was from the 90s and the 80s and barely the early 2000s. So, yeah, I told you,
not
man,
confident.
Everything is just a rebuild. My sports life is in the dumpster, just like a good 94% of the rest of my life too. But the 6% is when I get to talk to people like you when you call in and ask Preston questions.
We have a few more minutes left, so anyone that does want to get a call in, 661-515-BETS. We have about 3 minutes till we take our last break of the show. We'll end the show in about 15 minutes. We got to talk a little Suns-Bucks. Talked a little bit about it with the first quarter stuff and just the general outlook with Middleton and this and that. And someone else wanted to bet the Bucks minus 4.5. Then we had the money line bet come in, which, by the way, was it Anthony? Yes. So he wanted to, at the end, I convinced him to parlay it with the Middleton under because he was just so certain Middleton was going 4 for 64 in tonight's game. So I looked it up. Middleton's 24.5. We parlayed it with Suns money line at plus 175. He gets under on Middleton. Slightly correlated. I don't care. I want him to back it up. So he's getting plus 425 on that parlay. Suns need to win the game, and Middleton has to go under 24.5 points. So if you're still listening, that's what you're locked in for. I still like under somewhat. I know they've been going small more frequently. Ayton got in foul trouble last game, and so he was out of the game pretty frequently. I think he only ended up playing about 27 minutes. A lot of Frank Kaminsky, and
that's disgusting.
It was rough for Phoenix. That's why they got blown out. Outside of the fact that Giannis just had a monster game again, but despite all that, it still went under the total. So in that third quarter was wild. They scored 70. Nobody missed. So I lean that direction. I know it's up to like 221, a couple of 221 and a halves. Like I've said before, my projection with the current roster construction on each side with healthy Giannis is more like 218. So that's why I like the 222s. I mean, I could only go under at this point again in this game. I expect it to be a little bit closer. I don't think we're going to see a blowout. We have one call we'll get in before the break. Let's bring them on now. Welcome to Last Word Cheetah. This is Preston. Who are we talking to?
Yo, what's up? It's Doug.
What's up, Doug? How you doing?
Pretty good. I got a wild one for you. I'm looking for Jameis Winston MVP.
Oh,
today.
Mercy.
Yeah, I think it's
what price are you seeing?
Give me one sec.
Doug, please tell us what you know.
Yeah.
I want to know. Doug.
Is the rest of the league taking...
Please, Doug, break this down.
I mean, I know Jameis is one of the best football throwers in the NFL. I mean, I know he eats W's.
Okay.
I mean, I know he plays for a good team. I know they have a lot of star power. I mean, I think Drew Brees has cost this team maybe 4 rings in the last 10 years.
Oh, wow.
I mean
between Middleton hate and the Drew Brees costing his team 4 Super Bowls.
I'm kind of on Doug's side with the Drew Brees thing.
Brees is an average quarterback, huh?
I'm not saying that.
Brees is a below average quarterback.
Ooh.
He's going to make the Hall of Fame because of stats, but if you really look at his games, there's no way he should make the Hall of Fame. Like, I'd take Eli Manning over Drew Brees.
This is spicy. I appreciate the call. We can give you 50-1 on Winston. Does that work? That's what I just pulled up. I looked at one spot.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And if you want an absolute lock, take a comeback player of the year too, because he's winning that too.
Okay, let's see if they have that up on this site. Yeah, they do. Hold on. Let me just do a little command. Wow, comeback player of the year, Winston, 25-1. I don't mind that one. He didn't play much last year. He comes in if the Saints end up winning like 10 or 11 games, go to the playoffs, they'll be in the mix. I like that more than the MVP. I think that's the potential right there. Although Prescott's probably just going to get it.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate it, but Prescott's an average quarterback. I'm not too much.
Doug is not. Our callers.
Everybody's average today, man. Everybody is average. We appreciate the call, man. Good luck. We'll talk to you later.
This is a tough crew.
I love it though. Man. We have to take a break and we'll talk a little bit more on the other side. But average Drew Brees, if not below average. Prescott average. Middleton average. We got to talk about this after 661-515-BETS. If you guys want to try to get one more call in before, we will talk to you back soon. Welcome back for the last few minutes before we wrap up today's show. We appreciate all of the callers that were able to sneak in, including Anthony and Doug, just railing on Chris Middleton, Drew Brees, and Dak Prescott. That word average to below average was used way too frequently. I actually ought to back up Middleton, man, like what he did against Atlanta. No Giannis. To some extent, I think people, what would you say Middleton is as far as like top 20 player, top 25? Like, what would you say yes to the?
I think expectations are too high for athletes in this day and age. I absolutely would say he's top 25 at least.
So when you look at some of the like all-in-one basketball metrics, like real plus minus, one of the more basic ones, Middleton ranked outside the top 50 this season. Darko is another one. I think he's like 32nd or 33rd in Darko. When I was looking actually just the other night, I was having a convo with the guy who created that all-in-one metric. There's some others out there. Considering he plays a lot of his time with Drew Holiday and Giannis, you would expect his kind of box score numbers and those types of metrics to be higher, to be better. So it's just interesting, but he's definitely way, way, way above average. Yeah. So I got to give him love for that. Real quick, you actually agreed with him to some extent about Drew Brees, maybe not costing him 4 Super Bowls. I'm not sure they're going to win 4 in the last 10, but maybe 1 or 2 more in there. He's had some tough playoff runs when their defense has been there. He's obviously had weapons, had good coaching. What do you see? Do you think that there's a chance the Saints are then undervalued just in general going into this season because they don't have Brees anymore?
No, I think it's a better team. I think if we all can agree that he probably at least cost them the playoffs last year. Was it last year? It was 1 year. I think it was either last year or the year before, but he just hasn't been the same. Father Time always wins. And that's the thing with Drew Brees is, he's going to throw, and he came into the league when it became a passing league, guys putting up 5,000 yards a year, 4,000 yards a year. So, those are the quarterbacks that I guess, put on a pedestal or idolize. But that's just the evolution of the game. I don't think Drew Brees is a bad or below average quarterback by any means. I just think he's over the hill. And, they used a lot of Taysom Hill to, I guess, kind of mask his deficiencies with the gadgets and everything because he's just not the same quarterback. And you see guys like Brady playing, he's like 43, 44. You're going to talk about playing until he's 50.
Yeah.
That's the difference between him and Drew Brees. Like, you can actually see it because he's making he doesn't make the throws that Tom Brady never really made. Like, he's been consistent his entire career. Drew Brees has been up and throwing deep balls and having receivers, and now it's check down, check down, check down. That's not going to win you a game. That's just going to manage you a game. It's not going to lose you a game unless you're throwing turnovers, which he does pretty often. And then once again, I don't get the Taysom Hill love in any capacity. He's a gadget player.
Excuse me?
And Taysom Hill isn't a world beater like that. He's not that. You're not that guy, pal. I'm going to say that completely. Is he another BYU guy?
Are you speechless? Of course he is.
He's not that guy, man. He's good to the extent where he's a playmaker.
Look, we got to wrap up soon. I know. I wish this had happened a few minutes ago and I could respond. First of all, we got to clean up one thing before we break. They've won the South the last 4 years. So they've won the division. They've made the playoffs every year. I'm talking about the Saints. They've won like 13 or 12 games every season. There was the year, I think the 2019 one, where his passing dropped off and the Vikings beat him in that first round. And so that was a huge upset. And so everyone hated on the Saints. We appreciate everyone's time. I cannot believe we have to talk Taysom Hill all day tomorrow, but I'm pumped. Do your research. This is Last Word Cheetah. We'll be back at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. Thanks for all of the calls. I am Preston. That's Qwan. Talk to you guys later.